And joining me now is a very special guest. I'm joined by the Israeli Foreign Minister, Gideon. He joins me from the Soroka Hospital, which was hit by an Iranian missile early this morning. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Sar, in these very tough times. Just wanted to know from you first, you're at the hospital where an Iranian missile struck earlier today. Civilian casualties, it appears, could be mounting. Is that a major concern now, the fact that even hospitals are being struck? Iranians are claiming hospitals in their country are being struck, and now one has been struck in Israel.
No, we don't attack hospitals, and and it's not surprising that Iran is doing it, because what they are doing from the beginning of this campaign, they are only targeting civilians and only targeting civilian population centers. And today it's a hospital, it's a civil hospital. The building that was hit is the surgery building, when usually medical teams and doctors are battling to save people's life. And then here Iran wanted to take human life. So it is clearly a war crime, but it demonstrates their approach in general. And while we are attacking military objectives, nuclear program objectives, missiles objectives, they deliberately attacking only civilians.
So how will you respond to those who will say Iran has officially confirmed that 450 Iranians have died since Israel started their strikes 6 days ago, and they claim that many of them are civilians, that this is not just military establishments in Iran which have been struck, but civilians have also lost their lives. So there seems to be almost this civilians getting caught in the crossfire.
You know that we took out the leadership of their military establishment, almost every one of them. We took out the establishment, the leaders of the weaponization process of the Iranian nuclear program. And we took them, in a specific targeted operations. Of course, when you target a specific person, there might be collateral damage, but it is very minimal. And while we are working for example, in a civilian neighborhood, we are declaring time ahead, and there is an evacuation of this neighborhood, and we are consistently working in order to keep human life, civilian life, which are not involved. There is a difference in the rules of war between targeting civilians and targeting military objectives. Sometimes when you target military objectives, there might be a collateral damage, but it is not to target civilians. It is totally different. And what they are doing, they are violating the rules of law, and they are committing war crimes.
You're calling it war crimes, Mr. Foreign Minister. You know that Israel has also been questioned, even by the United Nations, about what's been happening in Gaza, where thousands of innocents have died, many of them children, when hospitals, schools have been targeted. So in a war, it seems the worst affected are always the civilians. You can't say Israel is suffering for war crimes and what happens in Gaza and Iran is any different, isn't it, Mr. Foreign Minister? Civilians are civilians, totally, whether in Gaza, Iran or Israel.
Totally different. And as a journalist that mediates the information, you know it very well, because Hamas is operating from hospitals, from schools, from UNRWA installations and facilities. Here in this hospital, you wouldn't find any military activity. It's a civilian hospital. So what must be brought to the attention of your viewers is the huge difference between targeting civilians or targeting terrorists that might be hiding after civilians or taking use of a civilian facility. This is very bad, but then you must act because they cannot have immunity, these terrorists. But it is totally different to target civilians, to target a hospital without any excuse, any military reason. And this is what Iran is doing.
Let me push you one more time on that. If there were any Palestinians watching
Please.
this program, or indeed those concerned about human rights across the world and what happens during war, what will you tell them, given the thousands who've already died in Gaza because of Israeli strikes, or indeed are dying today in Iran? What will you tell those who are saying Israel also will have much to answer for?
I will tell him very simply. Hamas began with this war on October 7. Hamas is the only one that's responsible for its continuation, because they are still holding our hostages. They are still refusing to disarm. So the suffering of Israelis and Palestinians alike are totally on the shoulders of these terrorists. And with regard to Iran, they are those who attacked Israel with missiles 2 times during 2024. They are those who said, you know, the leader, Khamenei, time and again said it, that their objective is to eliminate the state of Israel. And he didn't only said that, he acted in order to do that by building these proxies of terrorists and terrorist states around Israel, and by developing these catastrophical weapons. So it is a totally self-defense operation in the context of a wider military conflict between us and them that they initiated.
But the fact is, this particular operation that started last Friday was initiated by Israel. You struck Iran first. So I want to understand why and what prompted you to strike Iran now. And therefore, when Iranians say Israelis started it and we also have a right to self-defense, how will you respond?
Thank God we initiated that, because otherwise we would have just waited for the time that they can eliminate us with an atomic bomb. This is something which we will not agree to do. So we took the initiative as any other country under existential threat would have done. And we took it in the last minute. We took it when their nuclear program was very advanced already. We assessed it as about 6 months from having atomic bomb, maybe less. And this is a time when you must act to prevent your enemy to fulfill its objective. And their objective is the elimination of the state of Israel.
You're saying that you believe Iran was 6 months away from becoming a full nuclear power. You will recall, Mr. Foreign Minister, that when America struck Iraq and Saddam Hussein, then the argument was Saddam was developing weapons of mass destruction. Now that turned out to be false. What proof, evidence do you have, Mr. Foreign Minister, that Iran was actually weeks or months away from developing a full nuclear arsenal that you believe would target Israel?
We have very good intelligence, and we demonstrated it, because without such an intelligence, we couldn't find in Tehran all their military commanders and all the people who were involved and led their weaponization of the nuclear program. We demonstrated. We have a very good intelligence, and also here we have a good intelligence. But I tell you more than that. It is not us only, but the IAEA that must inspect just brought 2 weeks ago a very severe report against the Iranian breaches of their commitments. And they said they are in a position of non-compliance. And how Iran reacted to that? Iran just mocked at it and said, well, we're going to open a new enrichment facility. So Iran has a record of deceiving and cheating the international community and getting very close to nuclear weapons. If it was not our life, we wouldn't act, but it is our existential, our existence that was here on stake, and therefore we must act, and we acted in the last possible minutes.
You know, I spoke to an Iranian guest, Mr. Foreign Minister, and he said, while Israel claims they have an existential threat, we also do not want Israel to have a nuclear monopoly in the Middle East. They claim that Israel has a nuclear umbrella. Why should Israel get away with it? And what is wrong if Iran develops its nuclear weapons, which they claim is only for civilian purposes?
First of all, we declared time and again we will not be the first to enter nuclear to the Middle East. That's one. I repeat that now. Second, and it is very important, it's what's the type of the regime. When you are speaking about the most extremist regime on earth, with a fanatic, with a very extremist ideology, to have the most dangerous weapon, it is very dangerous. By the way, not only to Israel. For us, it's existential, but I believe that all the region feels the same. And I think that if they would have got existential, if they would have got nuclear weapons, that would create a nuclear race in the Middle East. We have an history of preventing enemies from getting nuclear weapons. We did it with Iraq in 1981. We did it with Syria 2007. And we had to do it again because, unfortunately, all negotiations and agreements and diplomatic work hadn't achieved the dismantling of their nuclear program.
You know, Mr. Sar, you're making it very clear that this is about ensuring that Iraq doesn't have a fully weaponized nuclear program. But your defense minister today says Khamenei is a modern-day Hitler, cannot continue to exist. So is this Operation Rising Lion about dismantling Iraq's nuclear arsenal, or is it about regime change? Is it about now targeting Khamenei and the entire leadership of Iran?
It is about to remove two existential threats, the nuclear program and the ballistic program. These are the objectives of the war. Both are in the context of Iranian plan to eliminate the state of Israel. This is the cause, this is the objectives. The Security Cabinet.
No, so is the
until now,
let me push you, sir.
The Security Cabinet, at least until now, hadn't decided anything on the regime thing to put it as an objective to this operation.
So how do I interpret, sir, the defense minister saying Khamenei is a modern Hitler, cannot continue to exist? Is the aim to get to effect a regime change, sir? I repeat my question.
This is your work to interpret. My work is, as a foreign minister, is to present Israeli position. This is what I'm doing in this interview.
Let me then come to the big question. America, sir. Do you expect Donald Trump and America to get fully involved? The belief is that unless you have American support in terms of their B-2 bombers, you will not be able to reach the the Iranian underground nuclear facilities in places like Fordo. Do you expect America to join you now directly in this operation, or is this only going to be an Israeli operation, sir?
We went to this operation by ourselves to do whatever we can do to confront these challenges, these two existential threats, which I mentioned. We're thankful for the US for supporting Israel in defense and defending the sky of Israel. But other things or other decisions will be taken solely by President Trump and according to the Americans' interests, and this is their decisions. They will take these decisions.
Are you worried, though, sir, that this could become a wider conflict? Are you worried that this could become, the more it continues, it could widen across the region, that we could have more and more countries being asked to get involved in some way or the other? Does that worry you at all?
I think what we are doing during the last year and a half is we are gradually taking care of this axis led by Iran with Hamas, with Hezbollah. This is the thing that worried us, that there is an axis that its aim was to eliminate the state of Israel, and we take care of that, and we are preventing them to fulfill their wish. I don't think that the other states in the region wants to join this war. There might be other organizations connected to Iran, like Hezbollah, or like Shiite militias in Iraq, or like the Houthis in Yemen, that already attacked Israel during this last year and a half. that would like to attack us again. And this is something that we took into consideration when we went into this operation.
My final question, sir, what role do you expect India to play? India so far has been seen to be, without saying it in so many words, supporting Israel. What exactly do you expect, kind of role do you expect India to play?
Well, India is not involved, but I think that India always looked at stability in the Middle East as something which is very important. I spoke with Jay Shankar and my colleague, India Foreign Minister. My Prime Minister spoke with Mr. Modi, Prime Minister of India, and we are connecting. And we are updating in what we are doing, and I believe that after this operation will be over, we will have a more stable Middle East, and this is something that is very important, also to have a progress towards connectivity, towards prosperity from India to Europe, to have this vision implemented of connectivity. But it's very tough to do it while radicals are all around, and we must have a different Middle East. I believe that we will be able to create a different Middle East, a more peaceful Middle East, a more stable Middle East.
Are you not worried that this could become a prolonged conflict, though? The longer do you really believe it can be a short, swift conflict? Are you not worried that Israel is not, Iran is not Hezbollah, Iran is not Hamas? They're a sovereign country which will strike back, as you've seen today in the hospital. Therefore, we could be in for a prolonged conflict. Does that not worry you? And that Israel is dragging, in a way, the Middle East into a more unstable situation?
First of all, sir, you gave a speech, not a question. Secondly, sir, you said that your previous question is the last question, so we can conclude the interview right now.
Okay, sir. I appreciate Foreign Minister Saar for joining me. Thank you so much
You are welcome.
for joining me.
You are welcome.